Jamie Edwards, how are you, Jamie? Said, got to sort contracts out before January. The lure of the others offers, I will fear, will be too tempting. So yeah, look, I was really honest last night on the stream about my take on the Trent situation. And I even tried to explain this to Connor earlier on the phone as well about how I'm feeling. I want Trent to stay. That's the most important thing I want to put out there. I want Trent to stay. But I'm also running out of excuses for him. So, again, to really quickly summarise my position on Trent, it's, what are you waiting for now? Because Jurgen left, Trent needed to see who the manager was. Right, gotcha. Figured out it was Arne Slot. Trent needed to see what the manager's plans were. Grand, we figured that out. Trent needed to see, was the manager going to be able to make us competitive? I think we've got the answer to that. So as a fan, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, it's just down to Trent now. Trent needs to make up his mind and let the club know if he's staying or if he's going. So I think we're at a point now where there's no more excuses. Trent needs to front up and tell the club what his thoughts are. Because I don't understand what he needs to be talked into anymore. It's not going to be around length of contract with Trent, and I don't think it's going to be around money too much either. I think once the club get the nod that he's, convinced that he wants to stay and be part of it, they'll figure out the money and they'll figure out the contract. But we don't know yet. We don't know if he wants to be here. And that, the longer it drags on, I think is going to cause issues. Because people are going to feel duped. People are going to feel pissed off that Trent still hasn't said what he wants to do. We know Virgil wants to stay. We know Mo wants to stay. They've said as much. Be lovely to hear that from Trent. Trent wants to see what the offer from Real Madrid will be officially in January, but he could find that out already. Let's not be naive about this, Kyle. Trent can't talk to Real Madrid, but his representatives can. So I think he'll know what the offer is going to be. Now, the question we talked about last night was, let's say for argument's sake, halfway through December, Trent tells the club he'd like to try another move. So he likes the idea of going to Madrid. Or anywhere else. Doesn't really matter where it is, to be honest. But my question to you is, if Trent was to inform the club that he wasn't going to sign a new deal, would you keep him till the end of the season? Or would you want to sell him in January, try to get a few quid in, and then plan for life after Trent? Now, I'm not saying I have the answer to that question, but for me, my feeling on it is, if I was in charge, if I was a coach, I wouldn't feel like I could fully depend on somebody whose mind is already elsewhere. I know club and everybody has to say the right things, but we don't. We're fans, we can be honest. We don't have to look down a camera and say the right things to tick the boxes to make sure that the PR is fine and all. We can be honest, and we can say, I don't think he's going to be fully focused, because I don't think he'll be fully focused. Same way I don't think anybody. It's not just a Trent thing. If I knew I was going to another job in January and I was in a physical job, I wouldn't be putting my body on the line. I wouldn't be playing through a bit of pain or a niggling injury, because you're going to be one to be at your best for your new journey. So that's a question that I'm interested to see the answer on, because the reason I bring it up, by the way, is because Real Madrid want to sign a fullback in January. Carvajal's out, they need a fullback. So what do we do? If he stays, this is a moot point. This is absolutely fine. Trent signs a new deal. Everyone's happy. But if he tells the club he wants to go, what do you do? Do you sell him in January? So I'm going to ask you that question tonight for the first poll. Let me just get this written up. Question is, if Trent wants to leave, do we sell in January? I think it was a different poll yesterday. I think I was different. I think yesterday I asked people what they think, whether Trent was worth 300 grand a week. That was yesterday's poll. So it is a different. Yesterday was Trent worth £300,000 a week, and 54% said yes, 46% said no. You're right. He needs to make his intentions clear and quickly. If he decides to leave, the club have to start looking for a proper replacement. Sooner is better. That's my point. Like, if Trent says he wants to stay, this is all an easy conversation. Trent stays, everyone's happy. But, if. So, we'll leave that running in the background anyway, and I'll continue on with some more of the news topics. Rusba said, in recent years, no Liverpool player who went elsewhere could achieve similar or higher levels of success. Coutinho, Gini Wijnaldum, Sadio Mane, Fabinho and Hendo. There is no guarantee that Trent is different. What I would say is, one, I agree with that, by the way, Bruce, but I agree with what you said. But also, he wants to win things. That's what he said. Well, we're on track to do that. So, we can win stuff. If you ask people right now, who's more likely in the Champions League this season, between us and Real Madrid, I wouldn't say there's too much in the difference. Some people might tip Real Madrid. Some people might say Liverpool are in a better place at the minute. So I don't see how he's not going to be satisfied professionally at Liverpool. And that makes me feel like, is it about the money? And if it's about the money, look, that's also cool. He's every right to ask for as much as he wants. But what I don't want to hear happen is that there's one price for him to stay at Liverpool and there's another price that maybe he'll go to Real Madrid for. We're not going to pay him. Real Madrid aren't going to pay him more than we're going to pay him. I just don't see that being the case. So, yeah, I'm just getting frustrated with it. In all honesty, I am, because I'm running out of patience. I'm running out of patience at what does he need to be convinced. I don't see what else the club can do, the team can do, the manager can do. It's on Trent now to just say, I want to be here. And that's what we're all wanting. We're all wanting Trent to come out in an interview and go, I want to be here. I want to stay at Liverpool. I want to win things at Liverpool. I want to be captain of Liverpool. I want to be here. So until we hear that, I think rightly, we're all a little bit freaked out. Because why aren't we hearing that? Why aren't we hearing that? And again, if you couple that with the stuff we spoke about from the likes of Danny Murphy saying he thinks Trent's off, I think maybe a few of the lads on Sky Sports intimated that they're kind of hearing that thing as well. Paddy Pimblett speaking about the buzz around the city, feels like Trent is off. If he is off, I don't think dragging it out is going to help his situation. I don't. I think the more it goes on, the more people are going to feel a little bit pissed off. Because unlike Mohamed Salah and Virgil, the situation isn't really just on Mo and Virgil. There is some things for the club to consider about length of contract, their ages, and will there be a drop-off. They don't have those. So with Trent, it's all on him. He needs to make the decision. Virgil and Mo, we all think, want to stay, but there's a difficult negotiation about length of contract and stuff. So I think the three situations are somewhat different in that Trent, it's just all down to him giving the club the nod he wants to be here. And I wish he'd just do it. I really, really wish he'd just do it, because it would just solve a lot of headaches for everybody. Ash said if Trent leaves, he wouldn't be held anywhere near the same regard as Gerrard and Carragher. No, he wouldn't. But let me say this as well. If Trent does decide to leave, it's going to hurt. It's going to sting. But I would certainly hope we don't see any vitriolic, abusive stuff towards him, because he doesn't deserve that. You know, we've got to take this from a human perspective. This is one man's career. He gets one career. He's perfectly within his rights to figure out what he wants to do. I don't think anybody is questioning that. And I certainly don't want Trent being abused or getting shitty pushback or anything. But I do feel the longer it goes on, resentment is going to grow naturally, because people are getting freaked out and not hearing that he wants to be here. So I would say, I don't think it's anyone's interest to drag this shit out. I just don't. Whatever it is, rip that band-aid off. If he said he wants to go now, our fans turn on him, so he's not going to say anything. Right, well, what do you think happens if he doesn't say anything and we get through January and then it starts leaking out in the papers that he's talking with Madrid? People aren't stupid, mate. You know, I get where you're coming from, but people aren't stupid. You know, it's not going to take a lot for him to say, I want to be here. So, you know, I think honesty is always the best policy, and being upfront with these things are always the best policy. I think dragging it out is only going to be worse. Personally, that's just my reading of the situation. Imagine if Madrid are able to get Alphonso Davies and Trent for free, having got Mbappe this season for free too. They won't be for free though. I know what you're saying, Ash. Transfer fee-wise, they are. But Mbappe got 100 million signing on bonus at Real Madrid and then got his wages. Alphonso Davies, whether he goes to Manchester United or Real Madrid, will probably get a big signing on bonus as well. Same with any other player leaving on a free. The reason that they go on the free is because they get that money. You know, they will get that signing on bonus. They will get some of a transfer fee, you know. So you won't get these guys for free. But certainly there's no transfer fee there. Jason, thank you, mate. 11 months as a member. Jason's Reds Army. Thank you, mate. And Jason said, I hope Trent, VVD and Salah all sign new contracts soon. I would hate if he goes to Real Madrid and it won't be the same at Liverpool. Look, yes, I want him to stay. We all want him to stay. I think we can take that as a given, that Liverpool fans want him to stay. I just, again, I'm going to ask, why is this taking so long? And again, I think this situation is different because this is on Trent. He will make the call about what happens, whether he stays or goes. To some extent, Mo and Virgil will be in the same boat, but there's also, the club have to evaluate length of contracts and stuff for those boys. So it's a little bit different. With Trent, the ball is very firmly in his court about what happens with his career.